Yay!
Yay!
Today we will be talking about quizzes. Specifically, we'll be looking at creating quizzes and question types.
All right, so I am in the General channel, which is of course your landing page once you log into Teams. And across the top, I'm going to go to Assignments. Now, typically, if you have a larger screen, you're going to see that as one of the tabs. Since I don't, I'm going to click on the 3 more. And then once I click on Assignments, I'm going to create a new assignment, just like I was creating a general assignment. So I'll click Create. Now, here I can click on Quiz, and that's going to bring up the quiz menu. Now, if you have already created a quiz in Forms, you will see it listed here, and you can click on that and choose to use a previously created quizzes, and I'll show you how to do that. But since I don't currently have one created, I'm going to click on New Quiz, and that will bring up the new menu. Alright, so once you have logged back in, when you click on New Quiz, it's going to take you directly to Microsoft Forms, and you're going to see that you've landed on Untitled Quiz right here as your heading. If for some reason it says Forms, you need to make sure that you go back and recreate it as a quiz. If you decide to create quizzes from the actual Microsoft Forms mode, then just be careful as you're selecting to create a new form that you created as a quiz. Let me show you what that means. So once you log into Office 365, you come to a landing page that looks like this. And of course, this will direct you to your email and this will take you to Teams. But you can also go to Forms from here and create quizzes directly here and then attach them to your Teams as I showed you a second ago. So if you click on Forms, this is what is going to come up. You have the option to click on New Form, which you all can see this is that Teams survey I sent you a couple days ago, or you can click on New Quiz. If this is something that you want to be directly gradable in your Teams, make sure you click on Quiz. If you accidentally click on Form, you're not going to be able to assign it the right answers, and therefore it's going to be a survey and not be gradable. So if you create from here, just keep that in mind. Alright, so I am back in Quiz, and I am going to create a new one. So let's call this a Getting to Know You quiz. The first thing you want to do is correctly type in a title for your quiz, and that way people will know what it is. And then you can enter a description once you start typing in your title. So this quiz is part of the course introduction. And then I can also include directions. Please answer each question below. Again, I cannot type. All right, there we go. So now that we've got that figured out, I'm just going to click out of it, and you can see that I can go back in and edit it if I want to. If I want to add a picture, I can do that and search. But for now, I am just going to leave it as such and have the title of the quiz and then have the description and instructions there. Keep in mind that where it says description, you're always going to want to put your instructions in there. Students typically by this age do know that they should go ahead and take that quiz and answer each question, but it never hurts to help them figure out what to do. And also, if you have special instructions that they need to pay attention to, that's where you're going to put it as well. All right, so once you've got your title and your instructions, you are going to click on this plus mark to add a new question. You can see that you have got several options. Choice means multiple choice or multiple select. Text means they're going to type text into a text box. Rating is thumbs up, thumbs down. A date one is interesting, but basically that just means that you write your question and they have to tell you the date that they are, like the answer is in date form. So I wanted to show you all that one because it's not one that we use all that much. but you can see that the response is an actual date, which this is great for historical dates and things like that. So for all you history teachers out there who use dates, you might consider using this form. I'm going to click on the trash can because I'm going to delete it for now, and that makes it disappear. All right, so if you click on this little arrow, you're going to see additional question types. You can rank things, greatest to least, first to last, anything like that. You can drag and drop into different, like chronological order. You've got a Likert scale, which gauges opinions about things. So, you know, if you've ever taken a survey that says never, sometimes, always, rarely, things like that, that's a Likert scale. You can have students attach a file to things. And then this Net Promoter Score is kind of interesting, but basically it just tells you the likelihood of an event, so you can rate things from 1 to 10. So for instance, if you want to have your students explain to you how good they feel about a topic, or how well they understand something, you could add one of these question types in there. And then the last one on this list is a section. Basically, it gives you a heading. You can say these questions are all true, false. These questions are all, multiple select, or these questions all have to do with World War II, etc. So you can add section headings and descriptions in there as well. Now that we know what each question is, we're going to add some questions to this quiz. So I'm going to add a multiple choice here. And let's see here. So what are the initials of your school? And since we're at Campbell County High School, we'll know what those are. I'm just going to add in a bunch of options here. And notice that once you've gone through both options, you'll just click Add Options. And then 4 will be CCHS. All right, so we know that this is the correct answer. Once we've typed that in, we're going to come over here and click on a check mark, and that tells us the correct answer. You can add in comments. Let me show you that real quickly for each correct or incorrect answer, but that way the students will see that after they click on it. So great job, ooh, yay. So things like that. Once you have done all of that, you can come down here, assign it a points value. So let's call that 5 points. You can require it, make sure that it is required for students to do. And then if you would like to make this a multiple select question, you're going to click on multiple answers, and then you're going to choose which answers are correct as well. So right now, like if you're saying select all the correct answers, well, apparently we now have 2 initial abbreviations for the school, but you can select both of them as being correct. It's required, it's worth 5 points. There are additional things that you can do to format the question. If you need to open up the math equation editor, you'll click on that. If you want to give it a subtitle, you can do that. And if you want to use branching, you can do that as well. Now, branching allows us to differentiate for students inside of a quiz. If they answer questions incorrectly versus correctly, it can take them down a different path. So if you are really trying to hone in on a certain skill, you'll add branching there. And then this enables you to go in one direction or the other. If they get it correctly, you can go to next, you can go to end of form, etc. And the only reason I don't have more options here is simply because I only have one question in there, so there isn't another option. But once you add more questions in, you can send them to a different number and allow them to branch in different directions. Now let's add another type of question. Let me scroll down here so we can see it. And I'm going to add a text question. Now, if you are creating a question that is open-ended, like describe your favorite food, you can do that. Now this will not have a correct answer because students are going to have the option of what they want to type. So you won't have a correct answer here. If it's open-ended, you're actually going to come down here and click on long answer, and that way it knows that you are going to have to come in and grade it once it's done. Now you can also have fill in the blank type questions, and those are text as well. So if you were going to say Independence, I hope I didn't misspell that, I didn't, day is blank 4th. So we know that the correct answer is July. So we're going to come down here and add an answer, and that way that the students can type in the name July and it will grade it as correct or incorrect. Now here's something to think about. If they don't capitalize it like lowercase July, it is actually still going to accept it as a correct answer. So it's not case sensitive, which is kind of nice for the students who forget to capitalize it. But if like they accidentally type an 8 instead of a U, that is sensitive. So you know, we can delete that. Hopefully they won't mistype the short word July, but keep in mind that this is sensitive to characters, and so if they accidentally mess that up, it is going to count them wrong. All right, so I've made it required. I didn't check long answer because I do want a correct answer in there. And then of course you can also add the restrictions, branching, etc. All right, so let's add another question. So the last question I'm going to add is a rating question, or excuse me, a ranking question, so that you can see how those work. Now, when you type in this question, you are typing them in the correct order. When it goes out to students, these are going to be in random order. So if you want to ask a question about chronological events, if you want to ask a question about anything really that has an order to it, like number sense or things like that, then you can rank them. So let me show you what that means. All right, so I've said rank these numbers from least to greatest. And so the smallest number here is, of course, negative 4006, all the way through these, the decimals, and then up to 0. For you math folks out there, if I have messed this up, please email me privately and don't tease me in public. Thank you. But anyway, so you can see that I've typed these in from least to greatest, and that's how I'm going to save it. When the students see it, they will see it in a different order. All right, notice that I've given it a point value and that it is also required. So once you have typed in all of your questions, you'll see that I've made 5 questions. Each of these are worth, no, I made 4 questions, can't count. Each of these are worth 5 points, so it's worth a total of 20 points. And what I'm going to do now is preview it just so that I see what it looks like to a student. So if I click on preview, it's telling me that when I submit it, my teacher is going to be able to see who submits it, so it'll be attached to my email address. And I have the option to go through and answer all of these. That's not a real word. And then for this one, it's kind of cool because I can drag and drop it. So hopefully that's the right answer. You can also move these up and down as well when the students interact with it. All right, so I'm going to click submit. And it just says my response was submitted. I can click view results. And then I can go down through here and see what these are. Now notice I only got 15 out of 20 points because there is no correct answer for this, so my teacher is actually going to have to grade it before I know if I get any points or not. But if you look here, there is an immersive reader at the end of your questions, so students can click on that. And then what I do is I can play it.
2. Describe your favorite food.
And
/5 points.
it'll read it out loud for me.
End of question.
All right, so that's what it looks like for the students when they see it. And I'm going to go back here. All right, so to get it out of preview mode, I'm just going to click on back. And then I can also go up here and select a theme. It can be colors, you can add pictures, but for now let's go with the octopus because that's fun. And then as teachers we can go in and share. And this is important, only people in my organization can respond because that means that students are logged in and they can't have someone log in from elsewhere or access it from elsewhere and take it for you. So leave that. And then of course you can send them links and embed it, you can do emails, but since we're going to do this as an assignment quiz, then we will be able to just add it to Teams. All right, so once your quiz is done, you're going to see saved up here at the top so you know that it has been saved, and you can go back into Teams and then add it to your class. All right, so now that you're back in Teams, it will take you back to the assignments page. So you're going to click create, you're going to click quiz, but instead of it being blank, you're actually going to have this quiz here. So you can click on it and then next, and that's going to add it to your assignments. Now you're going to use the same settings as you did before for the assignments. And if you have questions about that, watch the previous video because once you've created the quiz, it then becomes an assignment. So of course you're going to edit enter any additional instructions you have. You are going to decide who to assign it to. You're going to decide all the parameters about due date. And of course, do not forget if you're using Teams to post it into, if you're using channels, make sure you post it into the correct channel when you are done. So I'm adding it again to Unit 1. And then I can either save it as a draft or assign it. I'm going to go ahead and assign it. So it shows it's assigned here, and then here in just a second, there it is. I'm going to get a notification that it has been added to a team. All right, if you have any questions about creating quizzes, let me know. I will show you some features in another video about how to collect and view responses.